and welcome. My name's Richard, and you're listening to
Hurry, the Movie is Starting podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. Before we get started into this movie that I'm going to be pre-game today, let me ask you something. They say there's only 3 things in this world that we are guaranteed: death, taxes, and getting your heart broken. Okay, well, maybe that third one I added, but if movies have taught me anything, it's that when your heart gets broken, the best remedy is to go out and fill those cracks with another lover. But let me ask you this. The metaphorical bridge you and your lover were walking on towards your future has just been shattered, along with your heart. Your planned honeymoon has already been paid. Do you still go enjoy it? Or even find someone new along the way and invite them into your brokenness? Be honest. But while you think about that, let's talk about Solo Mio. So, first off, before I dive into this movie, I already said that, but I'm going to say it again. If you were planning to go see this movie, go buy your ticket from Angel Studios or Angel.com. And if you have 2 tickets, type in the promo code DudesGoFree, and one of those tickets will be free. How amazing is that? In this day and age of Valentine's Day, where everything is skyrocketed up in price, everything is consumerism, and everything is just exploited to be more expensive than it is because love is an exploitable thing, we have this company that's giving out free tickets. So how amazing is that? Again, Angel.com, use codes DudesGoFree, and it will give you one of those tickets for free. So it's a cheap date night. Good movie to see. I don't know, maybe. Let's talk about it. So the plot of said movie is: left heartbroken in Rome after a wedding disaster, a stranded groom finds his ruined honeymoon transformed by a determined local and a few meddling travelers, providing that sometimes heartbreak is only the beginning. Beautiful message there. This movie is directed by Charles Kinnane and Daniel Kinnane, which, now you might be asking yourself, are they brothers? Nah, they're cousins. If you get it, you get it. But anyways, Charles Kinnane is the eldest of the Kinnane brothers, an independent film company founded by 8 brothers. I grew up wanting one brother. This dude has 7 of them. I mean, how amazing is that? That household is probably wild. You know, their fights were probably very bloody and holes in the walls for sure. But they are known for their short films starring Kevin James, Sound Guy, NBC's Next Olympic Hopeful, and an award-winning short, Rigor Mortis. Now, a little bit more about their story, because this is very interesting. When the pandemic caused shutdowns in the entertainment industry, Kevin James hatched a plan: quarantine with the 8 Kinnane brothers and produce weekly shorts for his YouTube channel. Imagine that, staying with 8 other dudes, just writing sketch comedy and just thinking of funny things to do. I mean, I was doing sketch comedy during the COVID eras too, so my heart is near and dear to this. Continuing on, the Kinnane brothers, Charles, director/writer, Jeffrey, Aziz, producer/writer/brother-in-law, Will, producer, Daniel, director/cinematographer, Pat, writer, Brendan, music supervisor/writer, Pete, editor, and John, writer/VFX. I mean, they have the full family covered there. Everyone has a little piece of the cake. In addition to their production work, John Kinnane, the youngest brother, created @Screenplayed, a website for screenwriters. How amazing is that? So going into this movie, I haven't seen anything that they have directed before, so this is going to be a new one for me. But I'm excited after dwelling more into this topic, because not gonna lie, after watching the first couple trailers, I was kind of deterred from this movie. I thought it was going to be something special, something unique, and then watching the trailers, I was like, oh, this just looks like the standard Hollywood trope. And we'll get on more on that in a little bit. But after researching a little bit more, I will say I am surprisingly more excited for this. And again, we'll get to this later, but let me just add to this who this movie is distributed by. And as mentioned before, it is distributed by Angel Studios. You might be asking, what is that? I've heard of this before. Well, if you've seen The Chosen, you've definitely heard of Angel Studios. But Angel Studios has stories that amplify light and bring more goodness into the world by helping bring these impactful stories to life and reintroduce positive values into the entertainment industry. See, how amazing is that? We see so many times that a movie does spectacular, but then sometimes their deep down meaning it isn't the greatest. Now, this isn't always the case. There's also great movies out there with fantastic meanings that can leave something in your heart to be ruminated on at a different time. But just their concept of bringing things out into the light and producing quality, positive and goodness into this world, that's never going to be a bad thing. I mean, shoot, we need that more now than ever, if I'm being honest. That is a little bit about Angel Studio. So again, like I mentioned earlier, after seeing the first couple trailers, I'm skeptical because the original trailer I saw was framed in a perfect mannerism. He has this guy that's been struggling with love his entire life, and he found this woman. She is perfect. They are living the perfect life. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Then you go to the second trailer, and this perfection is no longer existing, and now it's Kevin James potentially moving on, however, for finding a love along the way. So from both of these trailers, I immediately thought, like, oh, here we go, another standard Hollywood trope. But maybe it gets a little bit more than that, right? If you're asking what I'm talking about here, I'm talking about the Hollywood typical trope that you fill a broken heart with another lover. But I guess deep down, these movies often explore themes of healing, self-discovery, and this narrative frequently serves as a stepping stone to personal growth, where a painful breakup allows the character to recognize their worth and find a more fulfilling, often unexpected relationship. So this trope is so popular because it offers a cathartic experience for viewers, providing hope that a painful ending is merely a prelude to a better beginning. That concept in its own is amazing. However, this whole concept as a whole has been demolished, but when done correctly, I still believe that is a very meaningful piece in this day and age. With that being said, will this follow that trope of, oh, I broke my heart, now I'm on this honeymoon by myself, I'm going to fall in love again and introduce this new character, while holding back a little bit, but the understanding that this fit was a better fit than my last fit, so I'm going to ensue this. Do you think that's what we're going to get in this movie? Because originally, on paper, that's what I thought. After reading some of the reviews and whatnot, it seems like they're going in a different direction. I don't know how, because these trailers seem to show the entire movie, but I'm hopeful for it, that we get a little bit deeper dive, or maybe something that we haven't seen before. And I want to talk about the subverting of expectations between these tropes. I want to highlight La La Land specifically, because La La Land, a lot of people did not like the ending of that movie. I absolutely loved it because it was real. It was real. The Hollywood ending everyone expected at the end of La La Land, and spoilers if you haven't seen that movie, but it's been out for a long time, and it's an Oscar-winning movie. It's a very good cinematic journey. So if you haven't seen that movie, go watch it now. I'm giving you an out before you hear the spoiler. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, too late. You're here. The end of that movie, people were upset because they wanted Ryan Gosling to end up with Emma Stone. However, their path throughout the movie has intersected and then broken apart and then come back together and broken apart. I think the ending was perfect because it was real. Oftentimes we go back and looking into those relationships thinking like, oh, I can have them back. And I mean, raise your hand if you've gotten back with an ex. You can't see me right now, but I have my hand up. Oh man, we've all done it. Okay, not all, but most of us have done it. Come on, relax. It's, you like to give hope to people and you want to say like, oh, let me give them a second chance, and then it doesn't work out. But hey, I'm hard-headed. So La La Land did a great job with this because it was real in the aspect of that Emma Stone moved on, and in that point of the movie, Ryan Gosling was still where he wanted to be in his career. They have decided that it wasn't going to work out for them in the long run because of where they were at. But it's okay, because when you love someone, when you truly, truly, truly love someone, you want them to be happy, even if that's without you. And I know in this day and age, we don't really want to hear that because everything's like, oh, you need to be happy. You need to feel this. You need to feel that. No, it's not really like that. Once you truly understand love, you understand these things a lot more. And that movie was one of the most amazing, in my opinion, one of the most amazing examples of true love I've ever seen in a movie. And for Ryan Gosling at the end of that movie to not end up with Emma Stone, but to be happy and see her happy where she wanted to be, because they're both where they wanted to be. He wanted to be where he was at with his career, and he got there. She wanted to be where she was at with her relational status, and she got there. And it was a bittersweet ending, but an ending I loved. But speaking of subverting expectations of this trope, I want to also highlight Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Having a main character in that movie actually learn why his past relationship failed, albeit literally because he's there with his ex, unfortunately. And a reality of X being with someone else rather than just filling the void with someone new. He does fill the void with someone new, but on the actual journey that we are seeing, he is actually going through this process of learning why they aren't a great couple. Because in the beginning of the film, he is absolutely devastated. This news has blindsided him. He's living his comfortable life, like eating a giant gallon bowl of cereal every day. I mean, not gonna lie, that's been a dream of mine. I did that once. and I did not feel good afterwards, but I did it. He's very comfortable in where he's at in his life, and he's not really pushing forward. It seems like he's just comfortable with his job, he's comfortable with his life, he's comfortable with his relationship, until that comes to a screeching halt in the form of his girlfriend breaking up with him. And then you see him go on this journey. He's trying to go on this journey by himself, but as fate would have it, he is on the journey with his ex alongside, with her new lover. So that in itself creates a funny kind of atmosphere. But then the journey and the production of that movie and the writing and the storytelling of that movie, I thought was great. While yes, it did contain the typical Hollywood trope, it very much in its storytelling diversed it, in my opinion, and that's why I thought it did a great job. And I'm hoping this movie follows that similar path of creating that initial Hollywood trope and taking it into a different direction. Because I don't know if you know this, solo mio translated is Italian, is only mine. So who are we referring to? Are we referring to his first relationship, his second relationship, or God's relationship? Oh, you see what I did there? That's a tie-in, because next we're going to tie this into scripture with Matthew 5:4. Before I get into the scripture, I just want to give you a little context. Matthew 5 is an introduction of Sermon on the Mount, and for those of you who don't know, this is from Christianity.com. It is one of the most famous and influential teachings of Jesus. Its timeless wisdom and profound insights into human nature and the nature of God have inspired countless individuals and movements throughout history. It also lays out foundational principles for Christian living, emphasizing love, humility, forgiveness, and righteousness. I'm going to say those again. Emphasizing love, humility, forgiveness, and righteousness. Notice how I didn't mention hate at all, because somewhere along the way, some of us got lost. And that's not me throwing shade at anyone. That's just our foundation is supposed to be built on love, humility, forgiveness, and righteousness. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I feel like somewhere along the way, religion and media and something has gotten skewed where it seems like it's all about division, hate, unequalness, and it's not. It's literally about those things I emphasized before. So I just want to say those are what I believe to be the foundational principles for Christian living, even though in some others' views, Christians are seen as the most evil or the most hated people. And while they might just not be living with these foundational principles. So I'm going to read Matthew 5, 1 through 11. I want to specifically highlight verse 4, but I want to read verses 1 through 11 as a whole, because I'm going to be honest, this is one of the best things written in the Bible, and it's coming specifically from Jesus. So if you're one of those people that are like, oh, I got to listen to what Jesus has to say, this is coming from him. Now when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him, and he began to teach them. He said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who have persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." Oh, I was getting a little emotional there at the end, but as I said, I wanted to highlight Matthew 5:4, which says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." And this is obviously meaning a lot more than just dealing with the breakup. It can mean dealing with death or sudden loss of someone that you weren't expecting. And I know it's easy to just read something and just like glaze over it, but blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. The timeless nature of this is just showing that throughout our history, there's always going to be someone mourning, whether it be something permanent, something temporary, or something deep in this world. And it's just the beauty of something like this, where you can go in and read it knowing that it was written so long ago in a time frame that's not even similar to where we're at now, that it still keeps that same message to this day. And that's why I wanted to highlight this scripture for this movie, because I feel like that in itself, it just ties it all together of what this movie can encapsulate if done well. Because we are seeing that Kevin James' character is a character who is mourning. He is mourning this relationship, this path, this teamwork, this friendship that he was going to be bound to that is no longer there. How will he be comforted? Will it be another? Will it be by God? Or will it be by discovering that the one he needed to love in the entire time was himself, and that maybe God can help him get him there? Who knows? Perhaps maybe the cast will help you out, because the cast is starring Kevin James, which you've seen him in so many Adam Sandler movies. I don't even need to remind you who that is. Jonathan Rumi, who you might have seen if you've seen The Chosen. He is the actor that plays Jesus. And funny enough, he's in the first trailer. It seems like his dichotomy with Kim Coates, who is also another actor in this movie, who you might also know from Sons of Anarchy. It seems like their dichotomy is angel demon kind of on the shoulders, because there's one scene where Kim Coates is telling Kevin James to go talk with that girl, and then Jonathan Rumi's like, oh, he needs to heal, and then Kim Coates is like, oh, you're one of those guys. So it's funny to see like their dichotomy, and I hope it's shown throughout the movie of like this angel and the demon on your shoulders telling you good and telling you bad, and then we'll see like what Kevin James decides, who he decides to listen to. But that's just an interesting dichotomy, because I'm pretty sure Kim Coates is always like typecast as like a bad guy or a villain, and this one he doesn't seem as bad, but maybe that's to subvert our expectations. And rounding out the cast of this movie is Alyson Hannigan, which is more irony because she's used to being in this situation. She's used to seeing her best friend or someone get left at the altar. I'm looking at you, Ted Mosby. Yes, in How I Met Your Mother, Ted Mosby was left at the altar by Stella, and who was there to help pick up the pieces? Alyson Hannigan as Lily. So I wonder if this is intentional, because like obviously that episode is a major episode in that series. So it's just funny to see her on this, and she's a great actress as well. But do you think she can make this movie go over under? Now, over under is the section where I try and create a line for a movie and decide whether it'll go over or under said line. Starting off the year good. I'm 2-0. Amber is unfortunately 0-1, but she'll get there. Starting with Moses the Black, I set the line at 7.2. I said over. I was expecting a sneaker, like barely over, and albeit it's only out of 72 ratings, so take that with what you will. But currently the movie sits at 8.3 on IMDb. How fantastic is that? 8.3 on IMDb. Boom. Easy win right there. The second movie was Send Help, which was listed as a 7.1. I said over. I had it at a 7.4. Ember unfortunately had it as an under, and it currently sits at a 7.3. So 2-0 to start the new year. It's looking good. Now let's see how we come up with the line for this movie. This one's going to be a little bit tougher because this director hasn't really done a lot of movies near this similar category. But I'm going to do something. I'm going to do this on the air right now so I can create the line for y'all. So I'm going to be taking all the shorts that he's worked with Kevin James, adding those up, creating the average, and then that'll be the line. So we have a 7.6. We have a 8.2, we have a 5.7, we have a 6.3, we have a 6.8, we have another 6.8, and then we have a 7.9. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 7 movies, so we're going to divide 49.3 by 7. That gives us a line of 7.04. Whew! So it looks like this is going to be another 7. And this is going to be a over under 7. This one's tough, because I easily want to say under, because it looks like the standard typical Hollywood trope that I mentioned earlier. But my hope is saying that they're going to go a different route, and that's going to be similar to La La Land, where it's going to potentially divide some people. However, in that division, I think we'll get a solid score. I'm going to go over 7 on this one. Book it. Hoping to go 3-0 on the season. When I have Amber on the podcast, I'll include her on the over-under, and then we'll see how our scores match up at the end. And then there will be a prize at the end of the season, so stay tuned for that. But you might also want to stay tuned for this.
Top 3 reasons
I think you should go watch this movie. Number 1, Angel Studios. Again, I'm just going to highlight the fact that Angel Studios is this distribution company that not only distributes, but it produces these movies that are geared towards shining the light and showing us that these good values, these positive values exist in this world. And I'm all for that. I am all for not only movies providing entertainment, but providing good, meaningful message that we're okay with showing our kids, that we're okay with showing the people we love, that we're not scared to watch around people. That's just a great concept in itself, to be able to entertain while still creating a positive message that will lift people up and inspire the world in a creative and good way. So that's going to be my number one reason. My number two reason, Jonathan Rumi and Kim Coates dynamic. Again, Jonathan Rumi is Jesus in The Chosen, and he does such a fantastic job. His acting is phenomenal, and I think he's, like, to play Jesus in itself is going to be a hard task to be able to do, and there have been greats that have done it already. But Jonathan Rumi has done such a fantastic job, and now he's kind of typecast into this specific expectation of the roles when he comes into them. And you see his commentary or his lines during this trailer that these expectations are going to be used. He seems like a very peaceful, healthy kind of guy. Wouldn't it be funny if he's actually like the evil one? I don't think he is, but I think it's just the typecast of him. Mm-hmm. And then we have Kim Coates. He's known from a lot of things, but he's known majorly for Sons of Anarchy, and he's a great actor as well. He's one of those really good actors that makes you enjoy hating him. Or those actors that can Dolores Umbridge you. You know what I'm talking about. They can really, 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 really make you hate them. That just shows that they're such an amazing actor and artist that they can get you that emotional about their character. And Kim Coates is one of those characters that's really good at doing that. So I'm excited to see the dynamic between him and Jonathan Rumi, and to see how is this going to go to where we're expecting it to go, or is it going to go in a completely different path? Honestly, even if it goes how I expect it to go, of them being like the good guy and the bad guy on Kevin James' shoulder, I am here for that. I am completely here for that. So that's a great number two reason. And number three, the last reason I think you should go watch this movie, it's just in time for Valentine's Day. I mentioned earlier you can use the coupon code dudesgofree@angels.com to get a ticket for free. So say you're running low on funds, you want to take your girlfriend out for Valentine's, or your wife or your husband or your significant other out for Valentine's Day, you want to just show them a good time. $15. $15 gets you 2 tickets, depending on where you live. In Florida, it's $15. Gets you 2 tickets to go watch this movie. Sure, you can get some popcorn, you can get some sweets if you want, but $15, you can't beat that. And it's just in time for Valentine's Day. This movie's coming out on the 6th, which is a week before Valentine's Day. It seems like it has a positive, meaningful message. It is coming from Angel Studios. So I think that's just a great reason to go watch this movie. But if you remember at the beginning of this episode, I asked you a question. And what was that question? If movies have taught me anything, it's when you get your heart broken, the best remedy is to go out and fill those cracks with another lover. But let me ask you this. The metaphorical bridge you and your lover were walking on towards your future has just been shattered along with your heart. Your planned honeymoon has already been paid. Do you still go enjoy it? Or even find someone new along the way and invite them into your brokenness? So for me to answer that question, I would lean towards the first one. I'm definitely going to go on this trip. If I paid for it, oh, you better believe I'm going on this trip. And even though it's solo, like I love going to the movies by myself. Obviously, now that I'm in a relationship, I go a lot more with her. But going to the movies by myself is such a taking me on a date, taking myself on a date, taking my inner child on a date for myself, because going to the movies throughout my life has been very meaningful, whether it be my mom and dad surprising me on one of my early birthday presents to go watch Jurassic Park 2: The Lost World. Most underrated movie ever, in my opinion, but I'm extremely biased on that, so take that with a grain of salt. Or it be my dad driving 2.5 hours to come see us just to go watch the new Marvel movie at midnight. These movies have made an impact on my life, and that's why I'm doing this podcast, to be able to talk about the things I love and dig deeper and dive deeper into the themes that we often go glaze over. So yes, I would absolutely go on this vacation by myself. I'm in a place now where I'm more likely to take time off and heal from a relationship. I know I've said that in the past, and that has meant me trying to heal for like a week and then jump into another relationship. But my personal opinion on how this should be done, I think when you're getting out of a long, meaningful relationship, I think the best thing to do is spend time with yourself. Spend time with God, the creature God has made you to be, to understand that you're okay. you're not less valuable because of this. You're not less meaningful because of this. Because to be real, after we go through a breakup, these questions constantly flood our mind. Like, what did I do wrong? Why doesn't she love me? Why doesn't he love me? Why? And we often point the blame to ourselves. What did I do wrong? Sometimes it's not even that. It's not even about you. It's just a hidden, deeper thing. So these trips can often be a reflection inwards towards yourself. And unfortunately, we see in the Hollywood aspect that means meeting someone along the way, which is, that's not a terrible thing. I just think in the real world that we don't often easily find these relationships immediately after getting our hearts broken. And if we do, it's probably because we're looking in the wrong reason. We're looking just for that connection again, to be able to be bonded with someone. So sometimes we often force it. And I'm not saying that's the norm in this world. I mean, I think it is probably actually one of the norms in this world. But with every norm, there's also an exception, because I've seen relationships where someone's gotten out of a relationship and gotten to a new relationship less than a week later, and now they're still in love with this person. So you never know what someone's going through. You never know the path someone's taking, or you never know the path that God has set you for. You just got to sometimes trust it. Go dive in with the head first and feel hope. And as an introvert, I like to just be alone. So I would easily just take this vacation alone. And I don't know, I've kind of been in an avoidant place too, where when I'm trying to heal, I will purposely push people away, because at the end of the day, I don't want to hurt someone. But how many times have we broken up with someone or been broken up where someone's hurt, and then you know the phrase, hurt people hurt people. So that's why my perspective is coming from when you're hurt, when you're coming out of a broken relationship, when you're coming with a broken heart, the best thing you can do is heal that heart before taking it to someone else, because what you don't want to do is break that person because of your brokenness. And again, it's not always the case, but it's just a form of healthy relationships, in my opinion. Now, there is the argument too of people being like, oh, well, you can heal in that relationship with the other person. That is true. That is very possible. But I believe that the other person has to have that mindset, and that other person has to be willing to go through those trial and errors, because it is going to be a lot of trial and errors, and patience, love, and understanding will guide you. That is my answer to that main question from the beginning. What do you think? What would you do? Would you go on that vacation solo? Would you try and find love along the way? I mean, it's easy to be able to be like, yeah, I can go solo, or yeah, I can find someone along the way because it's Italy, it's going to be a good time. But just think of the ramifications is all I'm saying about that. Well, that's the end. That's going to be the end of the podcast. And just a reminder, at the end of every podcast, I do a closing prayer. So if you'd like to hear this prayer, I'd love to have you here. And if you don't want to, that's totally fine. No worries. Have a blessed day. Love you. And thank you for stopping by. But for those of you who want to listen, please bow your heads. Lord, thank you so much for this amazing day. Thank you for this amazing opportunity for me to be able to sit here and talk about my thoughts on movies, and just dive deeper into these thoughts on movies and just the concepts around movies, that we can explore the hidden meanings and the deeper lessons that you want us to learn. Thank you for creating companies like Angel Studios that are able to shine your light and show the good, meaningful values that lift us up in this world, because there is a lot of darkness in this world, Lord, and I ask that through your light, you continue to shed through this darkness and show us the path that we are supposed to go on. Lord, I ask that you shine your light and bless anyone who is going through a tough time right now, anyone that is going through a tough season, anyone that's struggling with something, that's struggling maybe going through a broken relationship, someone that's just let go of a relationship, someone that's being hurt from a relationship. Lord, I ask that you shine your light onto them and remind them that blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted, that your comfort is the only comfort that we need, Lord, that your love and your guidance and your light is all that we need for us to be comforted in this world. I know oftentimes we're distracted by the other comforts of this world, but you remind us in Matthew 5:4 that blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted by your love. Lord, I ask that you comfort the people that are in need, or the comfort that people that are being hurt right now, or the comfort the people that were expecting to do something for Valentine's Day this year, only to be left alone, wondering why, what happened. To shine your light on these people, Lord, that they may remember that they are beautifully and wonderfully crafted, and that sometimes these things in this world, they just happen, and so it's okay. We don't need to assign meaning to them, or we can just learn and grow from them, not dwell in it and create a scar that for years to come. Lord, thank you so much again for this podcast and for everything you have given me and Amber in this world, and for everything you have done for us. I thank you in Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen. Well, y'all, I just want to say again, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thank you for stopping by. And don't forget, all right, the movie is starting. Love y'all.